Do you know what is a great time for building culture, for building connection, for enjoying each other's company? Bus trips. Yep, you guessed it, bus trips. Coach Diaries, ep, today. We are on our way, not right now, because I am approximately half an hour early to the meeting time, but if you are not 5 minutes early, you are late. So there's a little tidbit for you, but we are on the travel to Newcastle today. Newcastle Knights are currently coming in top of the ladder, so it is going to be a challenge for us going up to their home ground and challenging them today for 70 minutes. But the girls have had a really good training week in terms of adjusting how we think to focus on the little things that we can win. So not necessarily looking at the overall score or the overall result, but actually looking at the process within that and looking at what are the little things that we can win within each cycle, within each minute, within each run, set, etc., to reframe our focus onto some things that we can control, because ultimately we can influence the score, but we cannot control the final score. So being able to help and educate and inspire the team to reframe how they think about these things has been it's been an exciting way to challenge them to grow, because not all growth happens physically, not all growth happens in technical or tactical skills, albeit we do want those things to happen as well. But some of the ways that we can develop, or some of the ways that I look to develop my players, is psychologically and socio-emotionally as well. So things like reframing how they think about certain things, how they work with their pre-game anxiety, how they work with regulating their emotions, their frustration, their anger, their sadness, their irritation, and also a little bit of expectation management too. That's so important, I think, especially with the demographic and the median age of representative players getting younger and younger as time goes on. That younger age group doesn't have the runs in their belt of experience to setbacks, experience to opportunities when they have had to demonstrate resilience. So that's been a major focus for us off the field in that respect. But I am now starting to look at, whilst the season is still running, this is our second last game for the season, seeing as we are not looking like we're going to make finals this year. So I am now looking forward to season reviews and just reviewing our season in general, but then also looking at player reviews individually, positionally, and just comparatively. But what that also means too is staff retention or recruitment, as well as player retention and recruitment. So my focus has now started to push into what comes next, whilst attempting to be grounded in the what is happening now. So all of it can be seen as a one big project, and then there's these sub projects within all of the umbrella of me being a head coach at Wenty. But generally, as the case is, the hat does not just sit with the title of head coach. naturally, where there are not as many resources available, when I say we, I'm also mean my team, my squad, my staff, as well as I assume the role of many hats, including recruitment person, like recruitment manager, scouting players. It's also a little bit of well-being as well. We take on a little bit of well-being, and naturally, as the head coach, you would think that there would be other personnel to take that on board, which there generally are. You'll generally find that, or I do, in my experience, I generally find that my performance staff, so my orange shirt, my manager, S&Cs, they all have a hand in supporting the well-being and listening to those concerns as well. But naturally, as coaches, as a coach, you will, like, I do one-on-one check-ins with my players to, one, build a connection and build rapport with them, but two, just to get a bit of a pulse check and a well-being check on them as the season goes through. When it's we consider a 12-week round game competition a long season, and it can be really mentally challenging for players, especially if they're not being selected week in, week out, if they are being selected and then being dropped the next week. There are a number of different factors as to why, players could be experiencing some hardship psychologically. And part of my role as a coach is to be able to get the best out of them on the pitch, but then also help them develop as people outside of the pitch too. So there is many hats that roll into being a head coach, and those are the ones that I haven't even, I have not even touched on the program planning, the strategic planning, the tactical concepts as well that tie into that. So there is a lot. And in moments where I feel like I am overwhelmed by the depth of tasks or depth of hats, the many hats that I do wear when it comes to being a head coach, I also then sit in the space of, okay, well, yes, it can coexist. It can be really, really challenging. It can be really hard, but I can also be really grateful because, one, as a player, as a past player, there were things that I knew I wanted, or that I knew that could have been done in a different way that would have made the experience better for me as a player, so that I could focus on performing at my best. So that really drives a lot of my decision making as a coach, and I feel very privileged to have had that version of me experience that. So now that I am a coach, I can help drive some change in the women's space at my club, etc. But then too, in terms of, for my personal development, my self-development, not just as a person but as a coach, is this idea of pressure, and how that pressure, if I'm being given pressure, or if I feel I have pressure placed upon me, that is a privilege. And I'll tell you why. In my spirituality, in the faith that I do have in our divine, in our God, in, whatever spirit is out there that is beyond my tangible comprehension, I believe that if I am being given an opportunity to rise and to work through the pressure, it's because God, universe, source, spirit believes I can handle that. And it's actually my job, my duty, to work towards that, to become the person that is able to steward that. And every couple of weeks, I actually write on my bathroom mirror some affirmations, because it's the place that I frequent the most, probably in my house, multiple times a day. I shower most days twice, so that's at least twice. That's without going to the toilet. And something I wrote on there yesterday, because I did a spring clean, was, I am becoming the person that is capable of stewarding the abundance, the recognition, and the wealth already on its way to me. And going on a tangent outside of Coach Diaries now, but it does feed into everything that I do, which is me looking at how I can extend the edges of what I think is humanly capable for me, and in extension, challenging you to do the same, is you can have all of these aspirations, you can have all of these goals, you can do and push for and pursue all of these things that you want to happen. But if you are not willing, or if you are not ready to hold those things, if you have not created space to look after those things, then you will never be able to maintain it. It will never be sustainable for you. So a big part of having audacious goals and pushing for some really monumental pursuits and endeavors is the process of becoming the person that is capable of stewarding it, is becoming the person that is capable of receiving that thing that you're striving for. So I am really looking forward to what is next, not just for me, but for my squad, for each individual player, for the club itself, and how we push forward, because my review at the end of the season, I know we'll be asking a fair few questions around how we can elevate ourselves as a mainstay and as a really competitive club in the competition that we play at. So if you are interested in following along on the journey, if you are a player that is looking for, insights into what coaches look for, or potentially extending your own edges as a player or as a person, but not just players. This is for everybody. This is for anybody who, wants to become who they say they want to be. This is for those that are looking to extend themselves in the ways that are scary, are awkward, are vulnerable, are insecure, but know they want to do it anyway. This is for you. And I also do some coaching on the side. I also run group programs. So if that's something that you're interested in, reach out to me, because it's certainly something that I can get you connected with. But I'll see you on the next one.